Hello everyone, my name is Millie and welcome to The Performing Arts and Me. For those of you that don't know me, in September I started at London Studio Centre on their theatre dance course and I'm on the musical theatre pathway. I make videos about the performing arts and my general life experiences, so if you're interested please do subscribe. Now in today's video I'm going to be sharing some of my reflections from term 1 at London Studio Centre. Now these are generally more like my personal reflections on what I've learnt, what I've been enjoying, things like that. We have had some assessments, but in general I'm not going to be talking about like the feedback that I got from assessments and things like that, although one of my reflection points did come up in my feedback. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm not going to be talking about the assessments and the feedback that I got from those. But yeah, so I'm going to start with some of the dance subjects that I've been doing. So I'm going to start by talking about ballet and jazz. So in ballet and jazz we've been doing quite a lot of work on technique, which I think is really good to do, particularly at the start of a 3-year course. The other dance styles that I've had so far this term have been contemporary, tap, hip hop and social dance. I'll talk about contemporary next. I'm enjoying my contemporary lessons. I particularly enjoyed some of the floor work that we did, just because I really like floor work. But yeah, just in general I've been enjoying my contemporary classes. Moving on to talk about tap. So for us on the MT strand this year, we've got tap. And at the beginning of the term, they kind of like assessed us briefly in the first week, just to see which kind of tap group they thought we'd be best in. So there were 2 sets and I was placed into the lower set, and there were quite a few beginners in my class. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a beginner at tap, but I've been doing tap for quite a few years now, and I kind of felt like maybe it would be better for me to be in the higher set. So I wasn't sure whether to like ask about moving up or to say anything. But in the end I did end up moving up to the higher set. I'm probably one of, if not the least able tapper in that set. However, I felt like for me, I'd like to be challenged and pushed. So I'm glad I moved up. I think in the next term, I'm going to try and put in more practice outside of college, or like booking out studios in college, or just, yeah, I don't know, somehow, somewhere, putting in more practice of tap, because it's something that I'd really like to improve at, because I really enjoy tap and I'd like to get better at it. So yeah, moving on to hip hop now. So basically at the start of the term, we were asked to pick an option subject, and the option subject that I picked was hip hop. I think it was actually called like hip hop and associated styles or something. So I wasn't sure like on which option I wanted to pick, but I felt like I hadn't really had as much experience with styles like hip hop as I had with some other dance styles, and I felt like shows in the West End and things like that were starting to use more hip hop. So I was like, you know what, might as well give it a go. So I ended up picking hip hop as my option, and I'm really glad I did. So going into it, I really wasn't the most competent hip hop dancer at all. But my confidence in hip hop has definitely improved. I feel like my actual hip hop ability has also improved, which is probably related to my confidence improving. And I've decided I enjoy hip hop dance now, which is great. Like on our last like practical lesson of hip hop, because we had a feedback session, but on our last like dance lesson, I was like, oh, this is my last hip hop lesson, because I'm picking something else for next term. But yeah. Anyway, so I've really been enjoying hip hop. I feel like my confidence has improved. I feel like my skills have improved. I'm so glad I picked it. The module that it comes under is called Skills for Versatility, and I feel like it's definitely made me a more versatile dancer and made me feel like I can do styles like hip hop. Okay, social dance. So social dance, we learnt social dances. So we looked at waltz, tango, jive, merengue, salsa. Did we cover any more? I think that might have been it. I feel like it's nice to have a bit of an understanding of those styles. Also, I was in heels, so yeah, I mean, it's not like dancing a full-on jazz routine in heels, I guess, but it was some kind of dancing in heels, so I feel like that was probably quite useful for me. But yeah, I enjoyed social dance. Next time I have something else. I have something called Lindy Hop, so I don't have social dance next term, but I did enjoy doing it, and like I was saying, I think it's something that is good for me to have an awareness of. So the other lesson I had that wasn't really a dance style as such was choreography. So we had choreography lessons, and I enjoyed these. I feel like they gave me other ways to think about choreographing a dance, and yeah, it's just kind of broadened my horizons with thinking about how to come up with movement material. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on to acting now. So the two classes that we get for acting are acting and improvisation, which is one class, and voice and text, which is another class. So in the voice and text class, something that was a bit more new to me was looking at some of the text work that we did. So like annotating texts for different consonants, vowels, things like that. That was quite interesting to look at, and I feel like it might be good for me to explore that more. So yeah. So my phone camera was running out of storage, so sorry if the setup is slightly different. But yes, so in acting and improv, one of the main things that was good was we were doing a bit of character work, and the character that I created was something that was quite different from me. Also, like, different ways to make a character. So it's kind of like with the choreography, but like different ways to create a character, like not just from a text. Moving on to singing. So I think with singing is I have a better understanding of how to create certain voice qualities. We haven't covered every voice quality there is yet, but the ones we have covered, I feel like I have a better understanding of how to create them. Can I always create them successfully every time, first time? I don't think so, but I can work on that because I have a better understanding of how to create them. So in general, I think I have timetabled 3 singing lessons a week. So I have my individual singing lesson, and then I have singing technique, and then I have singing application and musicianship. So in application and musicianship, one of the things that I've learned is that the music will probably impact on our like acting through song choices. So finally, I'm going to share some other reflections that I have that are more generic life things in general, although some of them are kind of college related, I guess. So one of them is I need a better system for note taking. I like to take notes from practical subjects and also from seminars and lectures, but I think it's just taking up too much of my time. I don't think I have a very effective system for doing it at the moment. Or sometimes I come home and I'm not very motivated in the evening to write notes, or I don't feel like I have time to write notes, and therefore it gets to the weekend and I've got loads to do, etc, etc. So I need to work out a better system for that for next term, I think. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention, so if you watched my last video, you'll be aware we had some issues with damp and mould this term, which wasn't great, but towards the end of term I felt like there was an improvement with that, and our landlady has been great at trying to help us get it sorted. So yeah, that wasn't great, but hopefully it won't be as much of a problem next time, hopefully. Talking my last video, also reflecting on this term, I've let some things slide a bit, for example YouTube videos, as I mentioned in my last video, but also other things like I wanted to practice the violin, I wanted to learn languages, etc, and I just haven't. To be fair, part of that might be me being a bit over ambitious with what I think I can fit in during term time, but maybe next term, if I get a bit more organised with other things like note taking and stuff, then maybe I'll be able to fit some more things in. The final thing that I think I'm going to mention today is about like socialising and making friends and things like that. I was on a foundation year last year at Bird and I made friends there, but now I've moved to a different college, and there was one person from my college, my flatmate, but she was the only person from my college, so there was a lot of meeting new people. I had met some people over the summer / early September, I think, but yeah, there was still a lot of new people to meet. I felt like I pushed myself a bit more with trying to do things outside of college with people this term, which I think was good for me. In induction week, I went to some of the freshers events. For example, there was a boat party that I went to and I wasn't sure whether I was going to go, but I ended up going. And yeah, just in general, I feel like I've done better at socialising. I just feel like I pushed myself a bit more in terms of meeting people outside of college, and I think on the whole I'm glad I did that. However, saying that, I think at the start of term I did have a bit of FOMO going on, fear of missing out, but I think now I'm a bit more settled. I don't have as much FOMO about things. But yeah, overall, I feel like I've settled in quite well now. I've met some really great people and made some friends, and I think overall I'm glad that I pushed myself to socialise with people more outside of college. Oh, one other thing actually that I want to mention. I did a show called Getting Jiggy. I took part in that. I was in one of the numbers, and yeah, I'm really glad I did that. It meant that I met and spoke to some people from other year groups, which was nice, and also I think it helped with my confidence, and it was a chance to perform, so yeah, okay, I think that is all I want to share with you. I didn't really reflect on like my lectures and seminars and stuff, and there might have been other classes I missed. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do give it a like to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my other videos. And thank you very much for watching. Bye!